Hey guys, this is Randy. This is video number 5 of a series. Hope to keep this under 5 minutes again, or certainly less than 10. The topic here is importing into ProPresenter7 the way we're doing it at Smithfield. I will start with some of the more common types of imports we do. This is every Sunday. And before I do, I need to show you something that's interesting. I'm going to stop ProPresenter here to kind of make the point. If you look at the desktop, you'll notice that we have Dropbox. If you don't see the Dropbox icon here in the tray, you can start it right here. And that's fairly common that you'll see Dropbox is not here, but as soon as you start it here, I've noticed it shows up. So if you open Dropbox, you'll see that I always like to look at the folder view. When you click on the folder view, what you'll see is that there's a folder called UMC. If you open that folder, you'll see one called Sunday worship folders, and under it you'll see a couple of that are interesting. One is called fixed slides for worship. Those are some of the fixed slides that I talked about in previous conversations, but this is talking about worship services in this discussion. We're using a naming convention for the folders. You can see that for example, this is the folder for 7/5/2020, 4th of July weekend. So I'll pop that folder open. And Carol is serving as our graphic editor, or our editor for this. And so what she does is get the lyrics for the slides and the scriptures, and she puts them in the Dropbox, named again for the Sunday at hand. If you click on it, look, I just want you to look at this Word document she produces. It's an interesting format that's important to understand. So what she's done is turned on the page editing marks, and that's done here. If you turn that off and on, you'll see what they're doing. You'll notice that you have a line of text, two enters which put the paragraph marks in, and then you have at the end of every row, that's very important, at the end of every row, if it's not a paragraph mark, if it's just a return, it won't actually make a new line. And then the presence of two paragraph marks is what breaks it. These are slide breaks, so that's important to see that. And while I'm at it here, I'm going to go ahead and show you as well. I'll just go ahead and grab 2 of these for fun, and do this, and then put copy, and just copy those just for something so you can see. They're now in my clipboard. So anyway, that's a Word, and I'll kill it now and let you see why I did all those things. A couple of things about when you start up ProPresenter I've noticed, and this is confusing to me. First, there's a pretty long delay, sometimes 5 or 6 seconds before it starts, and if something's going on, that could kind of alarm you, but anyway, that's normal. But when it does start, what will happen is you'll see a view here, and it always, when you start it, asks you to select a library. I don't know why it does that, because the only library we have is master. If you say okay to that, you end up in a dialog that looks a lot like an import dialog, but that's doing that on startup. I don't know why. We cancel it. Sometimes it goes away, sometimes it doesn't. It's just, we're going to get figured out what's going on with it, but you got to cancel it somehow, and it'll go away. So that's just strange that it does that, but when you first start ProPresenter, it often does that. So just cancel out of that. And here's what's kind of confusing about it while I'm doing it on this video. The dialog looks like an import dialog, and this is an import video. So I'm going to go up here and show you how it works. I'm going to go up to File, Import. And while we're here, I want to mention we have an import from PowerPoint, and this is the import from PowerPoint is how we used to do this. It's no longer the way we do it. We have not figured out how to make it work well. I think if it's a full screen slide, it might, but we'll play around and do another video on PowerPoint, a special video on that. But right now, notice one of the things I can import from is a clipboard, and I just copied two slides of text from a minute ago from that Word document onto my clipboard. So just for grins, I'm going to do that. And this is very similar to dialogue, that one we saw a moment ago, and it's saying how are the slides delimited. They're done by paragraph break, 1 delimiter per slide. That doesn't seem to make sense to me, but it works. And this is where you pick your theme, and the theme that we're using, if you click on it, should be already on there, is the SUMC Lyrics B. That's if it's lyrics or scripture, and that's the one that'll show up. Here's what's really cool about this is you can say which library do you want to come into, always the master. And if it's a playlist, you can actually, if you're working like right now, we're working on 7/5, you can also import it into the current playlist. That's pretty cool as well. So when I import that, you notice that the 2 slides that were that I copied in my clipboard have just imported. That's a nice feature, and I wanted to point that out to you. So let me get rid of this. I think I can get rid of this. Yep. And let's go back and say, I'll show you, this is what we do every week. We go File, Import from a file, and we go, this usually goes straight to Dropbox, but if not, you can find it. We're going to head over to that Dropbox folder I showed you earlier. Here's Dropbox, you see. Sunday worship, 2020 worship, 7.5, and here's America. This is the songs and the slides that Carol's prepared for Word, and so I'll just grab America the Beautiful, and go Open, and there it is. Paragraph break, one delimiter. The theme is the correct one. You hover over it, you can see it's SUMC screen 1. That's correct, and we'll say, and we're going to bring it into that as well as our playlist. So I'm going to hit Import. And this is telling us that it already exists. What do you want to do? So I'll say, let's just go ahead and add a new version. Let's do that. And so what you see is now we have American the Beautiful, the original version over here. And this is the one we just imported this now into the playlist. So let's take a look at this. Remember from the previous slide, if you click on it, you can hit the edit, and you can actually see the slide here. Just to kind of point out to you, when you import these, if you use the right template, it usually comes in perfectly. Carol lines it up so it just comes right in, but you do want to have a look and just make sure things are behaving themselves. This looks like a pretty long line of text. I'll show you how we'll check that. But anyway, there's if you want to see how things look, and I'm a little concerned that that one's so long, about 31 characters is as far as we can go. But let's see how it looks. I'm going to hit Show, and you can see it does look okay. Oh, wait, hold on, let me do this. Yeah, so it does seem to be working correctly on the output to the stream. It looks good on the screen, so maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it's not. There's not a problem with this. And again, OBS out. But see, this is why I brought it up, because you notice how it actually wrapped, because it wasn't quite able to get it on there. In a case like that, what I'll often do is just grab the slide there, and you try to break it logically where they sing the song. And just double click that, hit enter, and put another line in there, and then just show it. It actually saves it automatically. So now it's actually improved the version. So now if you look at it, it's all lined up correctly, and it doesn't wrap, and you don't have that one word kind of floating out there. This is what we do most common for the lyrics and all. I'm actually recording this on Splashtop and doing this remotely to bring it in. So I can do it from home, and what you're seeing, I'm actually sitting at home doing this on the computer at church with Splashtop. So you're able to do that. Once you learn how to operate it, now we can let you do that. But oftentimes you're doing this sitting at the computer at church, and this is the reason you're there before worship, an hour before. I'll show you also the something I think that's important. If you want to bring in audio, let me show you this way. There's these folders here that are those hot folders that I mentioned to. They used to be called hot folders, they're now called smart folders. There's not one called audio, and there's a reason for that. I'm not sure why it is, but you can't really bring audio into a playlist. I think it would be confusing if you did. Here's your audio files we talked about the last time. Let me just click one here. And if you need to add more audio, let me click on this. There's actually a folder that says on the desktop that's up there, right there with the hot folders, because it behaves almost the same, and it's called audio. I think we called it audio drop. Actually, I just need to get to the desktop. Yeah, there's the audio drop. And this is, if you have an audio file, a song or something, this is where you can bring it in. If you just click on this and hit open, it just imports it right into the list. There's nothing more to it than that. And then you saw how you can play it. At that point, you can just click it, play it. You can drag it and drop it to playlist, make new playlists. And if you look for those little plus signs, you can always, that's how you'll add a new playlist if you click that for audio. Same over here, you add playlists the same way. I'll remind you one other, I mentioned on the first video I did, one of the first videos, I'm going to minimize this and let you see. These are called the hot folders or the smart folders. And if I want to have if I see a new welcome loop, for example, that I like, and I can put the, why that didn't open. I can put an MP4 for like a welcome loop in that folder. Same thing for motion backgrounds and all that. And because they're smart folders, and I don't know why audios won't do this, but they don't. But you can see these are those smart, there's those welcome loops. And if I had added one in there, you would see the new welcome loop would be there as you dropped it. So that's enough on importing for now, and I think that gets you up and running. We're going to figure out what's the significance of the PowerPoint. It may be a holdover from before. That's what we used. They were very valuable before. And what we have to do now is save our PowerPoint slides, anything we do with PowerPoint, as a JPEG image, and then just bring it in as an image. So that's enough for the importing video, and I believe the next one is going to be on special circumstances on how to use ProPresenter to drive sound from that PC through the mixer to front of house. So we'll call it PC audio or PP7 audio outputs. It's a bit tricky, so we're going to have a special video on that. See you then.